Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and in this video I'm going to be telling you guys all about my experience when I had to have my teeth extracted for my braces. For me, I had to have 4 teeth removed. It was highly recommended by my orthodontist. She said, if you really want to get the results that you want, for me to be able to push your bite back, I recommend getting 4 teeth removed in order to reduce the overcrowding in your mouth. At first, I was like a little bit nervous about getting teeth removed. I didn't know what that would be like. Then I did a lot of research and then I found out that it's actually pretty common. A lot of people do it and it would really be able to give me the smile that I wanted. Also, one of my biggest insecurities that I had was my side profiles because I had such a overbite right here over the ridge of my mouth. It was over protruding and I really didn't like it. I was insecure about it, and actually when I went to my orthodontist, she had explained to me hey, I have another patient who had to get 4 teeth removed, and she showed me her before and after pictures. It really made me feel better, one, because I realized that I wasn't alone and that it's really common. So my ortho, she ended up just putting on the brackets at first when I went in for my first appointment for my braces, and they don't put the wires on because if you have to get teeth removed, the dentist won't be able to pull the teeth out if there's a wire blocking it right there. So she put brackets on all the other teeth that didn't need to be taken out, and then she recommended a dentist in the area, an oral surgeon that would be able to remove the teeth for me. After my appointment, they gave me the contact information for my surgeon, and they were like, okay, try to schedule your appointment as soon as possible. They're really good at getting patients in, and so they had scheduled me out about 3 weeks to give me enough time to be able to have my surgery and then be able to get my wires on. I called the dentist. I let them know hey, I have braces and I need to get 4 teeth removed, and so they set up an initial appointment for me. It was a couple of days afterward. I went in and they did a consultation. It literally probably lasted less than 10 minutes. I'm not kidding. The dentist just looked at my teeth, and then he was like, okay, this is what the surgery will be like. And I got to ask him any questions. He told me, okay, if you're gonna schedule your appointment, I would come in and then not go back to work. You can if you want to, but it'll be hard for you to talk afterward because you have to let the anesthesia wear off. He just asked me some questions about my dental history. After that, I scheduled the appointment. It was probably for a week after that. They got me in very quickly. And one thing that I recommend, if you're worried about cost and you want to know how much it costs, I would ask them to check one with your insurance and then be able to tell you how much you're looking at paying afterward. What they did is the lady got my insurance information, and then she was like, oh, okay, I'll call you and give you a number before the surgery just so you know how much the whole procedure will cost you out of pocket after your insurance. And so that was really nice to know how much money that I would need to be paying for my surgery. The total cost for them to take my teeth out that I paid out of pocket after my insurance was $191, which I was surprised at how affordable it is. I thought it would be pretty expensive to have extractions. Surprisingly, my insurance, they covered a decent amount of it. If you don't have insurance, I looked at my statement, and it cost about $380 per tooth to get them extracted. Because you're not going under full anesthesia, they just do some injections. It's not as expensive, the anesthesia, at all. And then there is a cost for your pre-consultation and a cost for your post-consultation. On my receipt, it showed $120 per visit, just to come in, have them look at it, and then they check you post-op. So my dentist, I really liked him. He was super nice. So when I came in, they looked at my teeth again to make sure everything was still good and make sure they knew the teeth that they were taking out. And my orthodontist, when I went, she had sent over my x-rays as well, so they will need that. So before you do it, they can either do x-rays there if you haven't had them done, or what they'll do is if you got x-rays from your orthodontist, make sure that they send them over. My orthodontist actually physically gave me my x-rays to bring to them so then they could look at it, which made it really easy. If they tell you like, oh, you need to pay for another x-ray and you already got one from your orthodontist, make sure you let them know so you're not going to have to pay for them twice, because x-rays can be really expensive. And I know that like my insurance, they only cover like one set of x-rays like per year. So then when I went in for my surgery, they put injections of anesthesia so you don't feel it. So when you have the surgery, like you will feel pressure. It feels really weird, but you should not be in pain. So they had injected it, and then what he did after that is he like poked the area with like one of his instruments, and he was like, okay, like, do you feel pain or do you feel pressure? And like pain for me like felt like you could feel like a sharp pain. Sharpness is like how I describe it. But pressure, it's like you just feel, I don't know, you feel something going on down there, but it's not like painful. It might be like a little bit uncomfortable, but it's not painful. So after that, I could still feel it. Like on the bottom, I could still feel it. And he was like, okay, everyone's different. And so then they added more like injections and like a couple of times because I could still feel the pain. And like if you can still feel it, like don't feel bad because they're literally taking your tooth out. It's gonna be really painful if you don't let them give you the right amount of anesthesia. And so for me, I was gonna get all 4 teeth removed during one day, and there is like a max amount of local anesthesia that they can give you. So my dentist, he kind of was getting a little bit worried because he was like, I don't want to like you to over exceed the amount of anesthesia like I can give you today, since he had to be able to inject the top. But he was like, if that's the case, like we'll just have to have you come back and do the other 2 another time. But thankfully, it like took a little bit longer to kick in, and they had me wait a little bit, and then it was fine. So then like when they actually take your teeth out, he like rocked my head. Like I could feel it. But I didn't feel pain. It was just like weird and uncomfortable. And sometimes like I was like, oh, you're done? Like you took it out? Like I didn't even notice. But then sometimes like you can like hear it if your tooth like breaks off as they're doing it, which is super weird. But yeah, it took like 2 hours. I asked to see my teeth afterward because I was just like really curious about like what they look like and everything. 2 of mine had like broke while he was taking them off, which is like really normal. And then after that, they showed me like the 2 that didn't break, and they were like a lot smaller than I thought. But he was really good about making sure like I was okay throughout the whole time. And if like I heard a sound like when one of my teeth like broke off, he was like, oh no, everything's fine, the tooth just like broke off, don't worry. And so I really liked that, and they constantly like were making sure that I was okay during the surgery and like making sure I felt fine. And so like I really appreciated it, and it like made me feel taken care of as a patient. And so then after that, like when you leave, you'll have like gauze in your mouth and you just like will not look cute. They gave me like a little like medicine mask, like surgical mask. Like that was nice. You still are bleeding a little bit afterward. So I like drove home. Like you're fine. You can drive yourself home afterward. If you don't need someone to like pick you up. It's nice if you do because you can kind of like chill. But you're fully fine to like drive after the surgery. So my teeth were still bleeding several hours afterward, and so it kind of made me a little nervous because the doctor was like, okay, like after you get home, like after like 3 hours, you should not be still bleeding as much. And so my doctor, he called me in the evening to like check on me to make sure I was okay, and I told them like, hey, like I'm still bleeding. And so what they recommended is getting tea bags, actually. If you take tea bags and you put them in the spots where you're still bleeding and you like bite down on it, it'll actually help you to stop bleeding, to kind of like help like clot it naturally. So that is what I ended up having to do. And I didn't really feel a ton of pain the first day, but the second day it like really kicked in. My doctor, he gave me ibuprofen 600. What they did give me is this like antiseptic like wash thing here. And what this is it helps it so that you don't get an infection. and you can use this like 2 weeks after the surgery, I believe. After that, it could like stain your teeth, so they don't like recommend you use it. So then, for me, I was still like in like constant pain. And so I ended up going back to the doctor after like a week. One of the blood clots had unclotted. So I just started like bleeding one day when I was at work. So I like ran to the dentist. I drove over, and they ended up giving me some antibiotics to keep it from getting an infection. What was happening for me is that I ended up getting like a dry socket, and that's like I was in so much pain. And like I followed all the steps. I wasn't using straws, like don't smoke, none of that. And I ended up getting a dry socket, and let me tell you, you will feel like it constantly throbbing, and it like you will have headaches, like you will be in a lot of pain. And I like had to take like so much medicine, and he ended up telling me to go get like Tylenol extra strength to like alternate with the ibuprofen in order to like have me not constantly in so much pain. And so I think it was like probably about like 2 weeks after the surgery, and I still was in a lot of pain. And so when I went in for my checkup, for my post-op visit, he looked at it and he was like, okay, yeah, you're not crazy. Like, I do see a dry socket forming. And so what they had to do, it was so uncomfortable. They ended up like putting this like medicine in the actual like socket itself, and it like disperses, so you're not in pain, and it kind of like helps to like heal properly. And after they did that, let me tell you, I was like 100% better. Like my quality of life was at like an all-time low, because I was just like in so much pain before. I feel like they didn't take me as seriously at first because they just probably thought I had like a really low pain tolerance, but no, actually I was having a dry socket form. So yeah, I just like have my notes on my phone. Yeah, so that's like pretty much it. Another thing that people like talk about is they say that they're like face changes, and I definitely have noticed a difference in my face. Like I'm not gonna lie, more so like in like my cheekbones. Like it seems weird, but like I feel like I have more cheekbones than I did before. And it makes sense because your teeth are moving, like your face will change. It's not, you don't look like a totally different person. Like I still look like myself, but I just think that I just look a little bit different because I had, some teeth removed. So it'll just change your face structure a little bit, but it'll make it look better, I guess, in my opinion. If this is something that you're really like concerned about doing, I would, talk to your dentist about it, see like if there's any risk to doing it. Definitely like think about it before you do it, because like it is like, I'm not gonna lie, for like 2.5 weeks or after your surgery, like you're gonna be healing, but you can like go on with your everyday life. Like I traveled for work, like I was still able to do everything that like I needed to do. It didn't like super like interfere with my life, but it was painful at times. Just make sure that you're very honest with your doctor throughout the whole process. And if this is something that you want to do, I would definitely do it, because you're going to be going through all of these like changes for the next, like for me, like year and a half. And if I'm going to be going through this, I want to like actually make it worth it. So if it's going to be something that improves your self-confidence, I would think about it. Yeah, so that is my whole experience with my extraction. So if you have any questions or want to know a little bit more detail, like drop something in the comments below. And if there's something that I missed that you want to know a little bit more about, just let me know. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.